Freaking ridiculous. I it is March the 9th of 2024. I already got somebody on my ass. I'm a little bit late. Yeah, I'm a little bit late. All right. There was things I had to finagle with right before I got on the live stream. I went ahead and I copied a link. That's for people if somebody comes around and they just gotta get something off their chest or something. Okay, they want to say something very vulgar here on YouTube. I want to give them the opportunity to do so. And I remember, dude, I'm seeing the comments. I see Andrew Trevino up in the building. And he's over here trying to regulate. The thing is, I'm supposed to be able to do the comments too, right? I'm supposed to be able to get in there. How come I can't do a comment? It's like, how do I send out the link? I don't know if we're gonna find somebody who really, really wants to just make a damn fool of themselves here on the internet. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it definitely can't happen if I can't send you a link. What's the banners do? What is a banner? Oh gosh, I didn't think this through. Let's see. I'm not gonna try too hard, right? But all these options that they give me, it's like, dude, I just wanted to leave a comment. Tripping, tripping. All right, so we might be able to figure it out. Yeah, I don't know if I just fell off of the internet or what just happened. Something bad happened, and I can't tell you what it is. All right, but so as we get our wherewithal about us and figure out why we can't do the most simplest things upon the internet that we see everybody else do. In the meantime, we want to know what the hell Andrew Trevino is doing on the internet talking all this mess. Okay, we're gonna get to the bottom of this straight away. He said, "It's your shit." Probably it is. I mean, how could it not be? All right, how could it not be? You figured you'd be able to do it. I've done it before. I mean, this was a long, long, long time ago, but I've done it before. I've put in links. I've had people come and use the link. I did a long time ago. I don't know how to post anything. Me neither. All right, me neither. We're getting left behind by the world, right? Think about it. That's on us. Andrew Trevino said adding a description, posted, pinning, it's all confusing. And they all have their own little purposes. I mean, it does make sense. The comment right now would make a lot of sense. Could put the link, and then somebody could go to the comments and then click the link. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's how it all worked. Andrew Trevino said, "Oh, and it disappeared," and I disappeared. Yeah, it did disappear. Everything is going terribly, terribly wrong already. I accidentally like stumbled off of the internet, like out of the studio. I stumbled out of it, and then I came back as fast as I could. So Andrew Trevino says, "No, I'm just saying. I don't know how many or how any of this shorts me neither, dude. Like, how am I gonna ask you to help me if we both don't have any idea? I stay in the dark. Gosh dang it, we're all gonna have to stay in the dark." See, we talked about it last night about how, homeless people, for example, they might have a little bit of an easier transition into like chaos because they'll already be homeless. All right. And so since we're in the dark, say like, Russia or China or whatever, Joe Biden, the sun, whatever, it turns off our electricity. That'd be a lot better because we already don't know shit. All right. So that might be a strategy of ours to not even understand technology. But I gotta admit, it kind of irks me. These little tiny things that I want to do and then I can't do it. It's insane to me. I don't want to have to fiddle around. Gosh, man, if I fiddle around, I know it's gonna knock me out of the studio one more time, and I just can't have that. Or maybe I can have that, but I don't know. It's like somebody's gonna watch this back and they're gonna be like, "Dude, This guy. We don't like this guy and his dilly dallying. All right. In the meantime, all right, I might figure it out and I might not. If anyone really, really needs to get on and talk mad gibberish on the internet, then we will figure it out. We will figure it out. All right. So I'm gonna see if we get any Russian bots before this night's over. We're not gonna spend a lot of time, obviously. Shit, I want to get to bed. All right, and I'm good at doing it. I have no problem going to sleep and stuff. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. I'd like to remind people out there who live here or elsewhere here in the country that tonight apparently is that spring in your clock forward thing. All right. And I know everybody can't do it, but it pisses me off. Like, it pisses me off whenever because when you spring your clock forward, what you're doing basically is eliminating an hour of your sleep. Right. And that pisses me off. Not everybody can do it. A lot of people have to go to work early. Right. But I'm going to sleep 8 hours just out of spite, dude. I don't care when I wake up. I'm sleeping 8 hours. You're not going to just take 1 hour from me every spring of my life. And every time it happens, you don't understand. Or maybe you do understand how pissed off that makes me. All right. So, one thing that I wanted to do tonight is that I wanted to go onto my YouTube chat or my YouTube whatever. And I didn't try to do this either, but hopefully it does work. What I want to do is go onto my YouTube channel and then go to the community tab, right? And that's going to show me comments that I had before. And I've had like a few very nice comments or very intriguing comments. One of the last comments that I want to show you is a comment I received about demons, right? And we've been on a tangent recently, and we're going to be on a tangent into the foreseeable future of the fact is there's demons. Like, I don't know. I don't even really know why I'm trying to explain this to people, but for thousands of years, people have gone about and tried to tell people, look, demons all around. There's demons. Got demons inside of you. Demons popping out of you. The demons are making you do bad things that's no good for you, and you shouldn't be doing them. You're controlled by demons, right? Basically. But of course, all throughout time, it's been a situation in which most people, the majority of people, said, "Pish posh." It's all about. Well, I was about to say that people say, "Oh no, it's science." Oh no, it's science. But honestly, I think that that's probably inverted. I think that that's more modern. I don't know for how many decades we've been going around talking about science and chemical imbalances in somebody's brain. Like, you know anything about it? I know nothing about chemical imbalances. However, I do know about demons, right? Calm down, Kenneth Copeland. Oh, yeah. Shout out to the man, Kenneth Copeland. And by the way, shout out to the Remix Bros, who I love it whenever they drop a track. If you never heard of them, they're called the Remix Bros. And they're very good with taking, like, say, political clips and turning them into a song or something. They're very good. And they actually have Kenneth Copeland. And Kenneth Copeland, he's kind of like the Bob Wills of the Remix Bros. Gosh, you guys, I'm starting to talk into language that nobody understands, right? I'm talking gibberish because most people don't know who Bob Wills is. And I'm going off on like tangents here. Bob Wills is a man from a long, long ago, all right? And I'll talk to you about him later, but he's a legend. He was the king of Texas, and for good reason. Kenneth Copeland, he is the king of the Remix Bros. And for good reason, man. He's got a lot of style and a lot of flair. And I've seen Kenneth Copeland, but I gotta admit, I haven't never sat down and watched like an entire sermon from this guy. It's a little bit over the top. It's a little bit over the top for me. And that's what's interesting. It's like, okay, Kenneth Copeland, he's over there. He's talking about demons, I'm sure. He's talking about homosexual conversion therapy. I'm sure he is. But just because he talks, that's what I want to stress. Just because he talks about it does not mean that it does not exist. I'm here to tell you. But there's no way that I could like convince somebody that demons exist. Like that's why I'm kind of careful to say that I'm not really trying to convince anybody because my words could not ever convince somebody. It doesn't make any sense. And if it did convince somebody, they're very weak minded, and I really wish they would stop listening to me. All right, but however, I think it's important to acknowledge the demons abounding as an explanation why people are doing what they're doing, and to kind of reaffirm other people out there because other people have seen the demons, and I'm talking about in different various ways. But for the most part, their faces, people's faces contort. And if you look at them very carefully now, people don't look at faces anymore, right? People are just like in tune to themselves, not really, they're maybe not as empathetic as they used to be, people. However, when you look at certain people's faces, they'll have flashes of like micro expression in which you'll see their face being all sort of contorted. For example, and I can't bring them up right here, but last time we talked about demons, we did bring up a man who got like $500,000 stolen from him, right? And he was a loser, and he was a dork, and he did deserve it. And we talked about it. We made fun of him. We said quite clearly that he deserved to lose all his money. We're glad he lost all his money. But he was on the article, and they wrote a whole article talking about, oh, poor guy, this poor guy, they stole all his money. Meanwhile, if you look at a picture of this guy, you know, the majority of the world would see a silly little dork dweeb who lost all his money. And I look at that picture of this man, and he was crying and stuff. You can see it, like his eyes were puffy, he was crying. And that man is for sure ran by demons, all right? And the demons want chaos. The demons want to destroy. The demons want to steal from you and destroy your whole life and destroy everybody else's life. They'll have you doing absolute nonsense. And furthermore, I think the biggest concern would be that society encourages, and that's what people point out. Society is encouraging the demons. All right. Oh, you don't know. Oh, you're a boy. You might be a boy. You might be a girl. I don't know. We encourage the confusion. Right. So it did take me a long while. It took me a long while, but I finally figured out again how to get to the communities tab in order to see what it is that people have left comments. And I think actually it might say the comments that I was leaving as well. What the heck is saying what comments that I left? It's like I don't care what. Okay. Okay. I'm on the communities tab. And I think that what happened is that I have no idea what happened. Show me pictures, right? I don't know if anybody understands like the matrix I'm in, right? But I'm seeing pictures on my communities tab, and I guess maybe I uploaded the pictures. I don't know. I was looking for comments. All right, it's going to take me a little bit longer. All right. So as we get into it, I know that there is one more thing that I want to say, and it is in regards to dorks and dweebs, and it is in regards to men out there that are very weak. I'm very weak as well. It's like, dude, we gotta sharpen each other. We gotta hone each other like iron, making iron sharper. And so that's the reason why I want to point out when things are retarded. When things are not only retarded, but they're normally retarded. And we just can't have that. Andrew Trevino, not into the future, because see, the future is going to be all sort of changed in the future. It's coming. It's not even coming. It's here. Andrew Trevino said, I want to meditate. He said, I want to meditate, hit that 100 to 104 hertz. He wants to make it hurt. He said, 4 hertz is where you can start to explore what you cannot physically manifest. And then you can manifest them physically. There's a big part of me who I don't know why I believe it, or like, I don't know why I lean towards believing that as well. And I've heard a lot of people talking about it when they're talking about frequencies, and they're talking about meditating. And just recently, and it's not the first time, I was listening to some folks and they were talking about the actual frequencies that are used. Say the frequencies that are used on the radio, the frequencies that are used on the digital music here on the internet and stuff like that. And they keep saying, and it's like, dude, I can't tell them. It's like, I'm not trying to argue against what they're saying, but they're saying, well, these different frequencies, they're using the frequencies that's evil. Have you heard of this? I've heard of it multiple times, multiple times. They said, well, the frequency that is on the radio and it's on this digital music is actually some sort of frequency that's to cause like distortion. It like kind of causes this friction or unease. It's not some. That's what they say. They say it's like unnatural. They say, hey, if they played music and they changed it up to this frequency, which they say it's like a 432 frequency. And it's like, dude, they're saying these things and it's all going over my head. All of it. And they're like, dude, that's a healing frequency. If we were to use that healing frequency, well, then, we would be doing a lot better. All right. And we'd be a lot more chipper or something. We'd be more healed. We could heal ourselves with these frequencies to include with the meditating. And it's like, wow, I tend to think that they're onto something, these people. All right. But at the same time as well, I'll add as well, which is not lost upon anybody. It's these days, music is it's definitely not only the frequency. It's not the frequency making you feel uneasy. It's the music that's making you feel uneasy. The music in general, not to say all music, but a lot of the popular music that you'll hear is kind of made to be. It's kind of the best way I can describe it is it's made to make old people uncomfortable. Okay, if you're past a certain age or whatever, and you cannot expand your mind on music, because most people can't, then you're too old, and it's going to make you uncomfortable, and that's the whole point. That's actually most of the point. And a lot of these generations, that's what they're doing it for, to make you uncomfortable, and it works. And a lot of the other people, the old people, they're like, dude, I hate it. I can't stand it. And what the old people don't realize is the more you hate something, regardless, the more you hate something, the more money it's going to get, buddy. It's going to get a lot of money. So good luck hating it, right? And furthermore, we might talk more about these frequencies. I don't know if Andrew Trevino has got more that he wants to unleash upon the internet, but okay, so I like to, and I really do, and I do it a lot, and people might wonder about me. I don't blame you for doing this. Okay. But one thing I want to talk about right now, and I didn't realize we were going to talk about it, is of course drill rap music. Now, shout out to the 80s kid. He's over there. He's a damn music aficionado. Shout out to Maytre Mark. He's a damn rock and roll legend already, if you didn't know. Okay. But especially 80s kid, he'll tell you all sort of things about all sort of genres of music to include drill music. Now, I don't know if El Nino knows, but he might very well know that drill music is something that kind of was more or less invented around 2010, and since then has swept the earth. Now, You have old people who just don't understand. Like Will Smith said a long time ago, and they don't understand. So they'll keep saying nonsense, right? As how much, oh, they hate the drill music. They hate the drill music. It's terrible. It's like, see, the terrible part about it is that you cannot relate. It's meant to make old people uncomfortable, but however, it's what's unfortunate is that there is a lot of talent behind it, and that the people who there's a lot of people who aren't good, but there's a lot of people who are very, very good at doing the drill rap music. That's what's interesting. Today, it's already swept the whole earth. Like I've seen drill rap music from Australia. I've seen drill rap music from the UK. There's rap music here in Texas. There's drill rap music in Florida. There's drill rap music in freaking California, New York, Chicago. It's everywhere. Louisiana, it's everywhere. And so people don't understand just how big it is. It's kind of like it's technically like when rap started. People didn't realize just how big it was going to get. Kind of like that. It's kind of like that. But meanwhile, what I really wanted to point out, what's obvious, is that drill music typically is like murderous and very violent. That's for sure. And if you were to put it, like, say, on a healing frequency and to play the drill music at me, I don't even think it would heal me or anything. It would still be very violent and it would make people uncomfortable. So Andrew Trevino said, I've got down the drill rabbit hole. There's so many rabbit holes when it comes to drill, and you go into each city and you see how like people have deadly beefs with each other. It's insane. It is dangerous to the psyche, and it does reinforce the negativity. The King Von, the FBG, BG Duck, Rabbit music is good, but there are caveats, and that's for sure. I think El Nino put it exactly better than I could have put it if I would have really, really tried. There's caveats. These people are really good, and it is very negative. And Alex Jones points out a lot. I've heard him say it a lot. And if you were to take his word for it, but a lot of people have said that way, way back in the day, way, way back, before our time, back when, say, NWA was a big, big thing, way, way back when they were just starting this, what they call gangster rap. It is said by Alex Jones and other people, Professor Griff, if you will, a lot of people, they say this is when gangster music was birthed, and it wasn't really organic. It was a bunch of Jews going around and finding blacks and telling them, look here, black, you're going to rap about some of that street stuff. You need some street cred. Aren't you black? They're like, dude, we're Jews. We're going to give you some money, but we don't like all this girl boy stuff you're doing. You got to be rapping about banging a nigga up in the head. All right. If we're going to give you money, you got to talk about how you don't really like black people, or you don't like the cops, and you just like being very violent. Right. And more or less, that's how rap turned into more. See, rap used to be called hip hop, and technically they were putting in knowledge into the songs, and they were trying to share knowledge and information with each other. But however, I don't know. I'm told that a whole bunch of Jews came and they were like, listen, blacks, you do what we say now, and we'll give you a lot of money. And they did. And there's the birth of gangster rap music. But we're talking about, so okay, I also want to point out that the birth of rap music is highly debated. Right? Some people say this Sugar Hill Gang. Some people say this some lady, she was the first to produce rap music and stuff like that. Some people will go back even further. And I don't know how much further you got to go back. I don't know how much further. But I'm reminded of a song, and it's ironic that I mentioned Bob Wills earlier, because Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys have a song called Ida Red. Way back in the day. I don't know how old it is. And it was for sure a rap song. All right. And it was off the hook. So here's the thing. That's when they birthed. It was according to Alex Jones, and people might think he's a kook, the CIA, along with Jews, they got together and they were like, dude, you need to do this gangster rap music. And so they figured, well, we're going to cause violence and a little bit of chaos in the black community. And they want to come through and just police the shit out of them. Why? Because we taught them to be violent, which they weren't really violent before. They weren't like, it might have been a little bit violent, but but it was kind of like bolstered and nurtured the violent tendencies. So, but fast forward, we're talking about late 70s, early 80s. Fast forward, it's 2020, 24. Okay. And this is like 14 years out of drill music even being invented. If you think about it, if these people are correct, the music that we're listening to that's taken over the whole world, that would have never even ever happened. It's like almost imaginary music. We're living in a dimension with all this music. None of this music would have ever even happened. But however, it was shifted that way. And now that it's shifted that way, you ain't gonna unshift it. The only people who's gonna unshift the way in which things are going as far as music, as far as art goes, is musicians and artists. Nobody else can shift it except for maybe Jews, all right? Because they like to finagle and stuff. I don't know any Jews, and I don't really have any problem against Jews, but I'm saying that's what they said happened. And so now you got a guy like me, and I completely understand exactly. I'm taking their word for it, but I completely understand the story that they've broken down. Like, oh, this is a manipulation. Oh, it's to hurt these black communities and these colored people communities. That's what we're trying to. I understand all that. And I don't agree with that. You shouldn't have done that, but you already did do that. You did it a long time ago. Now we have drill music. Okay. And just to conclude that topic, I want to say that me personally, like I said, I dig it. I dig it a lot, the drill music, and I can't stop it. I can't stop digging it. I do listen to everything else as well because I love it, but I do listen to a good portion of the drill music. And now I want to say that a big part of why I do it, it kind of gets you jacked up, right? Kind of gets you kind of like adrenaline pumping type stuff. It's that kind of exciting type music, right? But me personally, furthermore, I listen to it and I'm thinking in my mind, there's no way that we're gonna get through this year. I know normies think, oh yeah, it's just we're gonna do everything is gonna keep going the way that it always has, right? So, but I'm over here and I know full well you're not gonna get through this year without some level of devastation. And when the devastation comes, it's going to encourage more criminality and lawlessness and chaos. This is by design. It's not an accident. So if it was an accident, I would be guessing. None of it is an accident. It's all by design. And so we're going into an environment that if we continue to live and continue to be, say, like in a non-prosperous area, we're going to have to deal with all sort of criminality and this and that. Say Lake and Riley. Shout out to Lake and Riley, right? Like I said, in America, see, Lake and Riley, she went out jogging in the morning thinking that she was jogging through America. The America she thought she was jogging through was like safe and where she could fend off an illegal in the bushes. It's not that. That's actually not what it is. And so as we go, people could keep thinking, oh, it's women could keep thinking, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Let me just go jog in the morning around some bushes where illegals might hang out or something like that. It's not like that. It's much more dangerous, meaning somebody's going to have to deal with the danger of this pending environment that's closing in on us, who I would imagine is dealing with the danger more often than not is a man or men. And there might actually be some ladies out there. There's some ladies out there. Ladies get more violent than anybody else. It's just that they're not as capable of violence as men typically are. All right, but in a scenario, now if we, I don't know if we're gonna have like, imagine you're in a scenario in which it's like grid down, you know, and chaos abounding, and people are just thinking about whether or not they want to become cannibals. Are you necessarily going to have an MP3 player to play the drill music to get you all hyped up, to go out and start bashing strangers' heads? All right. Just because, not because they're bad people, just because they might want to bash you in the head and eat you. I'm not predicting that these things are going to happen. All right. That's like a very worst case scenario. Hopefully that wouldn't happen. But who's to say? I'm just saying, okay, before we get off of the topic, say like, you're going into war, right? And back in the day, they used to play music. There was, maybe they would like have a drummer, and he was keeping the tempo, and he was also sending signals out for the war, for the people who are battling and stuff. And I'm sure the music gets you all hyped up to kill. And you can imagine if you're going to war. I know a lot of the guys going into Iraq to give them some Iraqi freedom. They were listening to all sort of death metal, and I mean, I guess that's appropriate. But now, I mean, imagine listening to drill rap. Oh man, you go into a war and you're listening to drill rap. Imagine all your whole troops are listening to drill rap while you go to war. It's over, son. It's over. Nobody can stand against y'all. And that's what I feel is so important about the drill rap, is that it kind of conjures up some sort of strength in you. Now, it could quite possibly conjure up demons in you as well. All right, got to be careful. I'm looking so hard for like the comments, right? Because I want to talk about them. And YouTube has made it very, very hard. They're making me look very, very silly, if you will. But I might find it. All right. Andrew Trevino says that he's gone down the drill. Man, I've gone down the drill rabbit holes, and there's so many damn holes. All right. Before we completely get off the drill rap music, might I say, I've said a lot of things about blacks, said a lot of things about Jews. And as I've said before, um, and it applies to the drill music, and it applies to the gangster rap music, and it applies to the culture in general. Black people have a tendency, oh no, am I? Okay, I assume I'm still online, but I'm not sure. Black people, it's like, I wonder how many times can I say black people on YouTube before they shut off my video? I really, really got to think about that. And in fact, if you don't see my live streams on YouTube, obviously, for a couple of days, then I'm live streaming on Rumble because I was banned. Obviously, I should have been mentioning that. But I am on Rumble. Find me on Rumble. Gerard ain't right on Rumble for when I get banned, and I will get banned like here in no time. I keep saying black people, all right? But as we finish up, speaking about all the violence, and people don't understand what most people don't understand. Some people might. You might not understand when I say that black people, okay, they don't love each other in the true sense of the word love, because that comes from God. Love that comes from God is not going to have you shooting each other up, right? But however, they do love each other in their own way, and that's what I recognize as well. You dive down some of these drill rap beefs and stuff where people have daily beefs with their neighbors, and you'll see that the more that you look at it, the more you realize that they actually love each other, that they're kind of obsessed with each other in certain ways, right? And truthfully, they don't mind dying and killing. So it's just kind of their culture, right? And I don't know if that seems weird by me saying that, but it's just kind of their culture, all right? So I think I have some idea All right, before we get up out of here, how to see this comment, how to find the comment from Angela Tate. See, I'm looking at it right now. It actually took for me to physically and literally dig for it in order to get, like, YouTube is not making it easy. All right. And I feel like it's because YouTube is filled up with demons and they don't want me talking about demons. And I don't know if I'm live or if I'm not live because the audience dropped out. But they still, it's like YouTube's kind of funny that way. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and, finish out the broadcast because there's certain things that we got to talk about, namely this comment. It's from Angela Tate, Clown Reality. All right. And I'll be better about documenting these comments because it's so very hard to find. And this one was pretty deep as far as I remember. All right. And Angela Tate writes a lot, just so that you know. Angela Tate says, I haven't seen the video, Gerard. I'm not sure what she's talking about. Some sort of video. Oh, okay. All right. So recently I made a video and I titled the video, it was a live stream. The title of the video was Those Children Weren't Licking Toes. Yeah. You might have seen that on YouTube. It was a live stream, and in fact, I don't know if I even ever mentioned the children as far as licking the toes. I might have mentioned it, but it really wasn't the theme of the live stream or the video. It's just something funny to say. And in fact, those kids were licking toes and sucking toes. So it's a lot of things that we could debate, right? And then think about, and people have problems with us questioning. Like, say, who is the clientele of Jeffrey Epstein? Did he ever have clientele? Apparently not. Okay. But see, when I see the videos, and we talked about it last time, I see the videos of kids and they're licking adults' toes and sucking them in like what looks like a gymnasium. And immediately, and it's like going viral, and people are all talking about it. And what I want to hear from the faculty and everybody's parents is like that this is a deep fake artificial intelligence, that this never ever happened and this is sick and it never ever happened. That's what I wanted to hear. However, just like you, after we saw this videos of the kids with the licking the toes and the peanut butter, all I found out is that it was peanut butter on the people's toes. I haven't heard a denial yet from anybody about this. All right. It doesn't, I mean, if it truly never happened, it's like pretty much proof positive that it happened. So we got proof positive that these children were licking and sucking toes, but that's not something that the news is talking about anymore. Children are out sicking and licking toes. It's like, oh, everybody should get arrested and everybody should get their asses kicked. I've never been to a place in which we were all just sitting around brainstorming some goofy shit to do for fundraising and thought, you know what? I got a whole bunch of peanut butter. It's like a no-brainer, dude. I got 2-3 jars of peanut butter. We got all these high school students and we got adults who want to take off their shoes. It's like, I've never, ever, ever, ever been to a place that came anywhere near this line of reasoning. I've never ever. So how is it that not everybody's getting arrested right now? How is this? It's because that's their culture, and it's sick and it's disgusting. People are full of with demons. It's like, dude, how much did you traumatize all these little kids by convincing them to suck your peanut butter toes? Freaking insane. But Angela Tate says she didn't see the video. She said, I'm kind of a bit confused, to be honest. She said, I've been a bit out of the loop for a while because I'm trying to minimize my exposure to traumatic content. And honestly, y'all, I think that's very serious. It really is because, I think it really depends on you and it depends on what your journey is. That I think that should probably decide just how much traumatic stuff that you're wanting to see upon the internet. And if you realize that it's getting too much, just like Angela Tate did, I would say look away, tone it down because it's not gonna. You get to a certain level of traumatization, and it's not gonna help you at all. You're not gonna learn anything from it. You're just going to be traumatized. So she says, I caught the demons in there somewhere. She said, I caught the demons. You see all this traumatic stuff, and then like you're placing yourself amongst all this demon activity. Why? Because I don't know, but I feel it's like you're being drawn to it. You need to know what this demon activity is doing because of all the chaos and destruction that is happening, and everybody else trying to ignore it or say, "Oh, it's some sort of science and chemical imbalances." Okay, so she caught the demons. She said, "The reason my ears pricked up is because I went and I got myself a shadow creature slash demon visiting me on Christmas Eve just gone." All right, before I continue, most people will look at it and say, Angela Tate is a crazy kook nutball. All right. And I totally agree, but that doesn't mean what she's saying is untrue. All right. And I want to hear what people had to say instead of dismissing it. Oh, because I think it's over the top. So it manifested at 11:30 p.m. I saw it very, very clearly. Anyhow, earlier on Christmas Eve, the thing attempted to push me into my Christmas tree. Okay. Uh, while I was fiddling with the gifts below it, one of those gifts was a book called Full Armor of God. And she thinks that perhaps the demon was offended, perhaps, by the book title. Now, I'm not an expert, and it's a world of possibilities. Okay. I'm visualizing a scene in which you're by the Christmas tree and some like black figure. I'm not saying it's a black person. I'm saying some black dark figure. You can't see the features. Maybe it looks like the Grinch, and it comes back behind you and tries to push you into the tree. That's very possible. But me personally, what I figure would be more typical is that it's demons inside of us, and they get inside of us. See, we see them out in other people, and we can recognize that. But if we recognize in other people, the only reason we recognize it, the only reason we can recognize it, is because we got demons in us, and we know what it looks like. So when the demons come up in you, you know, you could be given over to demons, right? Like you could think, oh, you're hot stuff and whatnot, and you don't like God and blah blah blah. You don't mind demons, and you don't even believe in demons. They'll take over you. They'll have you doing any sort of unthinkable things, right? Because you're just floating in the wind, and the demons come up in you and start off. See, if you have no idea that demons can come up in you and start operating through you like you're a damn muppet, if you don't know that, well, then the demons can easily come up in you. There's nothing stopping them. You don't know that they're walking through the door, so how are you going to tell them to stop? You can't. And I think that's why I'm bringing it up. It's like I feel like I've experienced, and a lot of people have explained that once you realize it's demons, okay, if it's demons, then you start to realize, well, how do you defeat demons? How do you defeat demons? And a lot of people, um, they scoff. They scoff. How? I'm not even going to answer the question. I don't know. How do you defeat demons? Because I feel like we've heard how to do that plenty of times. All right, so Angela Tate, she says, to my point, anyone wants to know about demons needs to come to me. That's what I wanted to point out. Any of y'all want to know about demons, you better hit up Angela Tate. She knows all about the demons. She's an expert on the demons. She says, I like you to say they're very real. She says, and like you say that it's completely real. Before we press on, it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. But it's like there's people out there and they believe whatever they want to, just whatever they want to. That's great. I don't care what they believe in. But I swear, when I really think about it, introspectively, I think about what's going on in here, what's going on out there. I wonder if people understand what I mean when I say that nothing is worth believing in. I don't know if it sounds depressing. There's not one thing that's worth believing in. I've looked. There's nothing, dude. There's nothing. Nothing is worthwhile. Nothing of it is. Except, and this is where I'm a kook, God. Like nothing is proven on this earth except for God. And at the same time, demons, the proof is everywhere. I don't know. How would I prove this to somebody? I just don't know. All right, but they're out there, and in time, more and more people will have to interact with them and hopefully defeat them. All right, because they're out to get us. Now, as we wind it down, we've been here like 46 minutes. We got a little bit more gas in the tank. I don't know what all we'll get into. Like, for example, you got the Donald Trump out there, and I was thinking about it before the show. I don't know if anyone has anything to say about it. I'm going to be real quick and clear and try to confuse YouTube so that YouTube doesn't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Everybody wants Donald Trump. Everybody. All right. It's not everybody, but it's so many people, you might as well say it's half of everybody on America. They want Donald Trump. They want Donald Trump. It's never ever been so clear that they want Donald Trump. They don't want none of these Democrats, and they don't want none of these Republicans, for better or for worse. No matter how anybody feels about it, America wants Donald Trump. They want him so damn bad that they can't stop thinking about it and talking about it. And I can't blame them for that. And I know exactly why they'd want Donald Trump so badly as they do. Okay. There's a lot of problems that we have, real big problems, that are not even being addressed by anyone except Donald Trump. However, at the same time, as has been the case for months and months and years now, more and more people and more as time goes on, they do not believe in these poisons that everybody's been poisoned with. And it's like for years, the rhetoric's only been escalating and escalating. These are straight poisons. Here's the thing, like Donald Trump, he might be hard-headed. He might really want to like drive home the point of, oh, I was the one who rushed this. I was the one who rushed this. I don't know, man. 60, 70%. It's about like 60, 70% of your base will tell you to your face, fuck off with all your poisons. We're done with your poisons. Will you stop bragging about your poisons? Will you stop bragging about it? Because everybody's falling left and right from it. Right? I mean, I definitely have relatives, multiple relatives gone. And I'm sure a lot of people do. I'm figuring most people do. And Donald Trump, you're not that dumb. And years ago, we said, Donald Trump can't be that dumb, right? You just can't be that dumb. You just can't be. But as time has gone by, you're not that dumb. We know you're not that dumb, right? So people are getting like kind of heated about that, all right? And I seen it on like X, on my X feed. A lot of people, multiple people said, look what Donald Trump, look what he just said about this poison, and he wants to give us more poison. He wants to give us more cancer and HIV. It's a combo HIV cancer he wants to give us. And I couldn't call it. I don't know what the rest of this year has in store for us. But if I was to say hypotheticals, if we were to even go there, it's all hypothetical. It's all speculation. There's nothing very like. But if I were to say it, I would say our best bet is to elect Donald Trump, right, in a hypothetical world. And then every time he mentions the poisons, scream in his face until he shuts the F up about him. And that's your best bet because who else are you going to go with? There's people and they're talking about, man, Trump, he lost my vote. Now I'm going to vote for RFK. And I don't think that's a bad idea. But guess what? RFK is not going to win shit at all, ever. And it's not because he doesn't deserve to. It's because obviously they've made it painfully obvious. They're not going to have him win shit. And they feel the same way about Donald Trump. However, there's enough momentum behind Donald Trump to actually get him in. There's not enough momentum behind RFK. There just isn't, and it won't be in time. So it sucks to say. I don't mean to be judgmental to say you're going to throw away your vote. And it's coming from a guy who I've never voted in my life to this day. To this day, in fact, I had to go downtown. I'm told. That might be wrong. I'm gonna have to Google it, but they said I had to go downtown to register to vote, and I don't know if that was just in the primary or what. But I hope I don't have to go downtown so I can register to vote in the damn election. If I don't have to go downtown, I will. I'll vote. You just watch. I'll vote. But I hate going downtown. I'll tell you what. I don't like going downtown. All right. So, anyways, demons popping off all over everywhere. All right. The demons have been normalized through our society. It's painfully weak and embarrassing. Andrew Trevino says, I gotta sleep if I want 8 hours. You gotta get to sleep. And I don't mean to cut into anyone's sleep. When I get off of here, I'm gonna go 8 hours, buddy. Hard. Long live Lady Liberty. Good night, brother. Yeah, you have a good night. But one thing I wanted to finish up on. Well, some people gotta mosey on off to bed. And I'm fixing to do so as well. It's talking about demons and society kind of paving the way, kind of doing everything it can to nurture the demons. We don't know what's in store tomorrow. I personally don't plan to see tomorrow. That sounds odd to people, I'm sure, but how dare I plan to see tomorrow? I'm here today, and there's plenty of people who won't see tomorrow. I bring that up to say, in the future, we could speculate what's to happen in the future and this and that, but we have no idea. And I've never even been close to correct as to how the future is going to unfold. I mean, certain things, yeah, certain things are kind of easy to predict when the government tells you they're about to bend you over and stick it in, then yeah, you can predict they're about to bend me over and stick it in. It doesn't take you a genius to be able to predict that. However, the future and the scenarios of our own personal journeys, how they're going to play out, couldn't tell you at all. But hypothetically, before I get about here, I wanted to mention hypothetically, because I look around and a lot of these guys out here, a lot of these guys who I see, they'll have whatever amount of children, and I'll see them with their children and stuff, or with or without their children and stuff, and I can't help but assess the situation. And the majority of guys who I see come across, they're weak, they're dorks, and they're naive, and they're getting played, and they work their whole lives away, even though their situation could be brought to a screeching halt by a lady who may or may not be unhappy. All right. Men out there, I see them as weak, but it's like, okay, now society has got a whole bunch of weak men, like myself as well. I'm weak, and it's trying to encourage us to be weak. But it makes it where like, oh, everything that's weak is normalized. It's normalized. I wanted to talk about my daughter, for example, before we get up out of here. This is hypothetical. I don't know my daughter, right? I knew her back when she was a little kid. And so now, like, say hypothetically, she's 14, growing up. It would be odd to say, oh, I know her so well. I don't know her so well. The only thing I know about my daughter so well is the same things that are like in common between us. Because you have innate qualities that might mirror your parents, even if you don't know them. So I think about it. I look at all these weak men and these weak fathers, and they're out here like the typical weak father out there. I okay, I might be wrong, but let me go ahead and imitate the typical weak father. He's like, "Oh, I wish a boy would come around. I'm gonna beat his ass. I'm gonna beat all these boys' ass. My daughter, she ain't gonna date nobody till after she's in college and she's got a good career." And this and that. My daughter, they better not do this and that and whatnot. Meanwhile, might I point out, it's very, very naive that you think it's so naive. It's like, okay, if you're a grown man, shouldn't you be out working and stuff like that? Shouldn't that fill up all your time anyway? So if you're out working like a grown man should be doing, that means you can't watch your daughter all day long, buddy. It doesn't matter how tough the rhetoric you want to say to people who you know. That doesn't matter because your daughter is gonna run around. Why? Because you're being naive. You're kind of it's like cause and effect. Your naivety is causing her to get the itch and she'll want to run around all around town. Right. And it's like I don't think that's good. See, people have been brought up to think that's good. Oh, you're a big tough guy and you're a good father. You're a good father if your daughter's situation is made to be like that. It's ridiculous. It's naive and it's not of course it's not gonna factor into the future. What I mean to say is that all this little made up traditional naive and gullible weak BS that fathers have been pulling off, dude. Um it's got me it's got me wanting to make a change, if you will. This is all hypothetical. But a lot of people will look at me strange. It doesn't matter how you look at me. This is the end of the damn world. These are the last days, and people would want to look at me strange. Here's the goal. I have a daughter, and if I want her to be happy, she might not understand how to be happy. I know I've met women. They don't know how to be happy, buddy. That's not what's important. It's not important that a young woman knows what makes her happy. What's important is what makes her happy. I don't know if that sounds confusing. Um, it will make women in general happy to get married and have children. And they used to do it all the time. They used to do it all the time, but now they don't. They're encouraged to retard their own nature, right? And the father, he plays a big tough guy. Meanwhile, he doesn't have like a proactive role in his daughter's anything. For example, if you were to go to the East, and lots of times they'll have arranged marriages. And that's what's interesting. People don't like arranged marriages here in the West, but there's a scenario of a father even having a proactive role in an Eastern marriage. In the Western marriage, the father seemingly has zero role in that marriage. If his daughter gets married, he has zero role in it. He has zero say in it. And his daughter could do the most retarded thing that she could possibly think of, marry some stupid loser, and the father just has to sit there like a dumb freaking idiot, talk about how tough he is. All right. So I want to get up out of here, but I think in my mind of this hypothetical future in which I know full well that young women should want to be married. And I know full well the simple, easy things that they would have to know how to do in order to find a reasonably wealthy young man, or even a little bit older of a man, to marry that man and have babies and start having babies. And what I want to say as well is that marriage is not beneficial to a man in these days. That's obvious. It's not. I'm not the first person to say this. It's in no way beneficial to a man these days. And into the future, it's going to be even less beneficial to a man. Speaking in generalities, from the men who I know and who I've talked to, I can deduce that the only reason that men are getting married, that actual men are getting married, is to have children. The reason that these beta cuck males, these little halfway males out here, the reason that they want to get married is because they want a companion like a little gay boy, right? They're super gay, super duper gay women. They're basically women in little men's bodies. They want a companion. No, the real men out there who I've talked to, they want children. Well, how are you going to get children? The most reasonable, simple, logical way would be through some woman somewhere. You had to deal with some woman in order to get the children. And so there's a catch 22. I'm out here and I'm not trying to make more children, like at least not at this particular time. Maybe later on I will want to make more children, but so I don't have that in me. But however, there's guys out there, they want to make children, right? And I see the piece of the pile of dog shit that they're about to step in if they want to, and it's worse than dog shit. It'll ruin your whole life. That they're by taking the risk to marry some lady because deep down in that man, he knows he wants to make children. I would argue that that's a noble aspiration. Even if he's not such a great man, like the inside of him that wants to make children, to me that's a good thing. So long as he does it legally and with everybody's consent. All right, but of course he's walking through a minefield. Why do I bring that up? Okay, say if I were to coach my daughter on how to get married, I would have her married by 18, 19, period. That's not even a question. It'd be like an easy layup, dude. It would be so easy because first of all, my daughter's attractive, all right? So you got a lot on your side by just being attractive as a lady. Just be attractive, please. It's not hard. All right. And then learn how to cook, learn how to serve somebody, learn how to clean. And it sounds like, oh, this is so terrible. I don't care what it sounds like. This is the end of days. I want my daughter to have any level of happiness while she can. And everybody's judgment around here not gonna fuck that up for me. Oh, because you don't understand. These men are walking through a minefield. This man, who's some hypothetical man out there, might want to marry my daughter. And if he does, if he has that thought, maybe, oh, maybe I want to marry this guy's daughter. He's walking through a legal minefield. And I, as a man, cannot just sit by and watch him do that, hypothetically. The way all these other men out there do, being tough guys, big tough guys, they're selling out all sort of other men. They're for sure selling out their son-in-laws, right? Because before we get about here, the most typical situation: some woman, she wants to divorce you. She doesn't care what you gave to her. She's gonna ruin your life. She's gonna set out to ruin it. All right, say I'll get a divorce, and she totally throws your world into a tailspin. It doesn't matter. That's what she wanted to do. Meanwhile, she goes to talk to her father. It's going to be like business as usual. You know what that man's going to say? Any kind of trash that he wants to talk about you, with no consequence. By the way, can you think about how dastardly that is? Oh, because it's your daughter. Oh, you're so biased to your daughter. that you're gonna sit there while she puts this man through the ringer, and you're just gonna let it happen. You're gonna let it all happen. See, I don't feel like God is just gonna let you do that to another man, and you're gonna get away with it. I don't think so. So that's why I'm saying if I was there to coach my daughter in how to get married, yeah, we would find a very wealthy guy or a guy who's capable of making a lot of money. Yeah, he better be attractive. Yeah, he better work out. And I don't want to sound gay or anything, but he better be jacked, dude. He better have all these qualities, and we're gonna hunt him down. And he's gonna want to marry my daughter because it's like fish in a barrel, dude. It's so easy. But however, I will let him know. Say this all goes down, and everything goes as to plan, even amongst all the chaos and lawlessness abounding, which it will be. I will sit this man down if I find that he's worthy to take care of my daughter. I will personally sit this man down and say, "Look here, I respect you. I see what you got going for you, and I think that would be great for my daughter if you take care of her. Obviously, I've taught her very well on how to serve and be very helpful. All right. What I want to say is that you, as a man, you're a Chad, you're a big, strong guy, you're getting all this money. You have every option in the world for ladies. You decided you want to marry my daughter. Here's what I can tell you. If you ever accidentally step out on my daughter and have, say, random strange sex with like this lady over there or that lady over there or so, whatever lady, what I can guarantee you is that my daughter ain't gonna leave you. And see, most people in the world wouldn't understand that. What I guarantee you right now, my daughter ain't leaving you because if she came to me and said, "Look, Dad, look, oh God, he cheated with some floozy down the street, and I can't have that. I want him out of the house, and I want to take his stuff." Without hesitation, I'm telling my daughter, "Look, you're disowned. Don't ever come around here with this." And I would tell her before the marriage, "Look, you're gonna make this marriage work. It's gonna be forever and ever. You're gonna be happy as a damn clam. You're gonna have everything taken care of for you. You're never ever gonna divorce this man." So really, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it long and hard. You're never ever divorcing this man. I don't care what society does. You're not ever. There's not ever gonna be a reason. You're never divorcing him. So I want you to think about that. Because if she were to divorce him, she were to come at me and say, "Oh, I'm gonna divorce him," you're as good as cut off. You're disowned. Who are you? Can I help you? Can I? Oh, you're somebody's daughter? No, you're running around and trifling, thinking you're just gonna divorce a guy and take everything, take half of what he's got. Oh, there's no consequences. There's plenty of consequences in my world, and I know a lot of people, they sure wouldn't understand that, and they would call me some sort of bigot or some sort of I don't know what. And I don't give a damn. It's the end of days. So I'll holler at y'all a little bit later with some more of that shenanigans.